Merry Christmas, everyone. We're coming to the end of 2017, and we're going to be talking about the dramas we loved and hated on Kimchi Chat this week. We're also going to be doing a tribute at the end of this episode for someone that we lost this last week, or what will be last week by the time this airs. But to get started, we're going to get started with the dramas that we loved. Each of us had kind of an interesting ride this year.
Let's start the year off with Goblin. Technically, was that 2016 or is that?
It started in December, but it owned January.
Goblin was definitely my family type video. Yeah, it's great how my kids are reading, and I read Goblin out loud. I read all the episodes of Goblin out loud to my children because my youngest just wasn't there yet. But now she's watching.
Wait. Stop. Pause for 1 second. I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt. I had this vision of you imitating the characters of Goblin as you're telling this story to her. Like, I can just imagine you pretending to be both Goblin and the Reaper at the same time, and they're little. Oh my God, it's beautiful in my head right now.
It was kind of.
I totally see that.
Little nice, fight that they had, like.
Oh, and the favorite scene was my children keep going, can you go back to the mop scene? I want to see that mop scene. And I'm going, well, first of all, she is drinking lemonade or sassafras. And then, she's sitting there drinking lemonade, waiting for him to come back. That's how we go into that. And my oldest looks at me and rolls my eyes. I'm like, sassafras. It's sassafras. Okay, so after that, I ended up watching W, but that's a 2016 video, but I had never got around to watching it till 2017. So you must forgive me.
Have not finished that last episode because I am so deathly afraid that they don't end up together that I haven't been able to bridge that ending yet.
I am not past episode 4.
What?
I never watched it. I haven't finished it yet. I don't know. I don't think I was in the right frame of mind for it.
Okay, well, moving on. Was 10 Miles of Peach Blossoms this year or not?
Yes. And this is my personal number one. I have to admit, I got lost to the Chinese dramas this year. They've spent a lot of money, and it totally showed. And 10 Miles of Peach Blossom owned me for weeks.
Moving on to the next Chinese drama would be Starry Night, Starry Ski. Not Starry Ski. Starry Night, Starry Sea.
Sky.
Okay, the mermaid one. The male mermaid.
Yes. Feng as a mermaid.
That one was a love-hate relationship. I loved it and I hated it at the same time. I had to watch it. It was like this train wreck that was gorgeous. And her character, if my children acted like that, I might be in jail because she just was so,
She was annoying.
And then I went, my next ones are the Thai series. The Cupid series was very sweet and adorable, and I liked the majority of them, but I didn't like the last one.
I am so glad there are people out there that can do the cute and adorable dramas. Like, good for you.
Okay, and then I went to Hallmark Channel and was watching Hallmark movies.
Oh, see, that is so painful for me.
Well, it is. They use the same Frisian horse in every one of those.
That's
it's like, oh, the prince, look at his Frisian horse and see him riding. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Wait, that's the horse from last time. At least with the Chinese dramas, you get the different horses. I mean, they have different styles. You got different bays and you got different grays. And that's your horse lesson for the day.
Okay, so what drama did you absolutely hate? Or you just couldn't finish, or you dropped, or what did you not like?
I started out watching that Time on Time Chinese drama.
That was
Lost Love and Times. Lost Love and
Lost Love and
Yeah,
Time.
yeah.
And then I was just like, I can't keep up with this.
Too many love triangles.
Yeah, it scared me, and I went to Hallmark movies.
I actually went back and I finished that drama. I had to skip. I think I went from like episode 52 to episode 55. Unlike 10 Miles of Peach Blossoms, where I was invested in every single relationship in that, I was not so much with Lost Love and Times. I was really only invested in the main couple. Like I thought the other couples were cute. I kept having second lead syndrome feels for, I don't remember the guy's name. The guy who eventually became, spoiler, the guy who eventually became king, their emperor, but I really could have lived without them. And so I was having a really hard time with that. So I had to switch. I had to go from episode 52 to 55 and just finish the drama. Of course, there's the whole war is what I missed, but I was really okay with that.
Yeah, I got to about episode 50 and I was just like going, I can't do this. I don't care, which is really bad because I was completely invested all the way up until that point, and then it was just,
it was unnecessarily long.
It just lost its power. There were a lot of good Korean dramas that I just didn't give a chance to this year, and I think some of it was the fact that between Goblin and 10 Miles of Peach Blossoms, I was so fantasy action oriented that I just couldn't get out of that the whole year. However, the one gritty realism drama that I really loved was Dr. Chin, a medical examiner.
Oh.
Gruesome, great stories. I of course I grew up on Quincy and various other medical shows, and so, but Dr. Chin is amazing. Gross, you don't want to be eating food. Drama. But it's great for gritty realism. Criminal Minds was also pretty good for some gritty realism. I will have to say that best villain of the year, though, is our guy from Voice. Kim Jae-wook played our serial killer in...
Is he the guy from Coffee Prince?
Yes.
He plays a bad guy?
He plays the villain. He plays a serial killer.
Done. That's the next one I watch.
Wait.
Serial killer, and he's brilliant.
What about the villain from Oh Bong-soon? The really
Strong Woman to Bong-soo.
Yeah.
Now
what about that?
Your favorite one, isn't it, Heather?
Me? Yeah, that would be my number one from this year. He was very twisted, and he didn't really get creepy, but he was definitely twisted. Oh, shout out to that actor who played the gangster, both the gang leader and the mini gang leader guy. I could watch him in any drama, really.
Well, the gangster who kept getting beat up, and then the game designer director, he was also in Let's Drink. So he was the school principal, if you will, of the Hagwon that they taught at. I really liked Let's Drink. It's not in my top 10. It's a adorable drama in that it addresses that, you don't always get to drink with people. You were talking about W earlier. Lee Jong-suk shows up as a cameo in Weightlifting Fairy. Weightlifting Fairy, very cute drama. Very cute drama.
You guys want to really know what the sad thing about this year is? All the members of CN Blue have been in movies or dramas.
Oh.
All the members have. And did I mention any of their dramas? No, I didn't. I am so sorry. I'm so ashamed of myself.
We had Hospital Ship,
which was good. I liked it.
Cinderella and Our Princess.
That was
yeah. You know what was this year that is an honorable mention for me is She Was Pretty.
The Chinese version of
She Was Pretty was September of last year.
But the Chinese version came out this year, and that was good. Oh yes, and you know what? The Package came out, and I am so sorry. I know it's about France, and it has my lead CN Blue guy in, but I couldn't get over the name The Package.
The other one that needs to be put on our watch list is Father is Strange. I have heard nothing but good ones about it, but it is long, and so I haven't had a chance to give it any time. So I'm watching I Am Robot, which is adorably funny. You need to watch this drama. It's really funny.
I'm waiting for that one to finish.
That's probably a good idea because I watched the first 8 episodes just like that.
I just needed to make sure I got these in before I forgot about them, like I did earlier. There's a couple of other honorable mentions. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard great things about it, is Suspicious Partners. But the one that I just finished recently was A While You Were Sleeping.
Yep, I have started that one, and it's not too bad.
I watched this movie. Okay, this was one of my biggest regrets ever. If I ever had to regret a moment watching a K-drama, it was investing my time in Crazy Love. I invested 97 episodes into this stupid drama. I can't do that again.
So that is kind of how our drama year went. By the time this video airs, it will have been a week since Jonghyun of SHINee passed away. SHINee was part of what got us into K-pop and was part of the beginnings of our journey here. And we just wanted to say how much we love Jonghyun and how much we appreciated his efforts. And even though he was not able to value himself, we valued him. And it's been really hard the last, for what for us now has been 24 hours. Mental health is something that we need to be more open about, and depression is something that affects just about everybody at one time or another. You know, Jonghyun was someone who was held to a very high standard even as a small child. You know, it was never good enough for his father. He was never good enough, you know, to go work for SM, and you know, nobody's ever good enough for SM. So
did you see what Aaron Yang posted on Facebook? He has gone through situations like that. We all have gone through situations like that. And for me to see this gentleman, I'm not big into SHINee, but my friends are. And when I'm going to a writer group and one of my writer group's friends has said, yeah, I saw that on the news. That gentleman has affected so much that he's even in my little rural town has made the news.
Yeah, he's been reported about in every country. And poor Ani.
I'm staying really quiet right now.
I'm hugging you. I'm sorry.
You know, depression is a serious illness. It is something that you can't just tell somebody, just don't think about it, just feel better, just soldier on, and you
just
have
get up
to,
out of bed.
Yeah, just
do it.
It doesn't work.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
It's obviously I'm still like in the very beginning of my grieving process for having to say goodbye to Jonghyun. And Jonghyun was such an integral part of SHINee as a group. He was such an important person to everybody in that group, and he was such an important person to fans. His voice was
iconic.
Yeah, you can't say anything else about his voice other than knowing that like everybody knew who he was. Even if you're not a fan of SHINee, you knew who he was. This group has been in my life almost nonstop since 2012. And to lose a member the way that we lost Jonghyun is beyond devastating. And mental health in every corner of the world is so important. It's so important that people understand that it's just as deadly as cancer. It affects everyone. It is like chicken pox. Everyone has had it. And if you have it, you are so, oh, I just want to grab this camera and go, if you've never had depression, you are so lucky to not be affected by the darkness that consume people. It's so suffocating sometimes to be depressed and to know and to feel like you're alone. You can be in a room full of hundreds of thousands of people and they're all telling you, like Jonghyun, they're all telling you that they love you, but it doesn't matter what they say because you can't feel it.
Right.
And it's so hard to fight that. It's so hard to fight that because everybody wants to look at you and go like, how can you not see this? How could Jung Hyun not have seen that he was loved and that his music was just adored? How could he not have seen it? And that in and of itself is depression. It blinds you. It's really important that when people run into somebody who has depression, you cannot be honest enough. Like, when I'm talking to somebody who I know suffers from depression, I try not to mince words. I'm very careful about not mincing words. I try, you can be understanding and you try to be what you think that they need you to be, and that's what you should be doing, but don't do it so much that you are forgetting who you are. So you have to be who you are as a person because somebody can see when you're being fake. So it's really important. Don't be fake. Be yourself. Don't mince words. Let them know, like, I don't understand what you're going. If you people get so uncomfortable when it comes. I, for a long time, did not wear anything that wasn't a long sleeve. I never wore shoulderless shirts. I have scars all over my body. All over my body. There is not a single piece of me that's not scarred in some way. And I used to be ashamed of that because it would make other people uncomfortable. I was at a party once and I had a friend of a friend whisper to my friend and ask them about my scars in front of me because he didn't know what they were. He wanted to confirm that that's what he thought they were. And we pick up on that. And so it's really important to not. I'm having a hard time getting all my thoughts together because I'm trying to stress how important it is to just.
We run into this conundrum, I think, because we're in this time period where people want safe spaces. They want things to feel good and be happy. People don't want to have uncomfortable conversations, but we're also in a time period where we're becoming aware of mental health, where we need to have those uncomfortable conversations. We need to be real. We need to be, we can't be safe. You can't be in a safe place. You can't go, and in order to confront mental health, we have to be willing to not have safe places. And I think that that's something that we really have to confront. Jung Hyun tried to get help. He wasn't alone. His family was fully aware. For months, his family and close friends were working hard to save him. This is not something that, as soon as his sister got that final text, she knew. She called the police right away. This is not somebody who was hiding. He had tried to get help. It didn't work. And, there's a lot of people hurting right now. And so, just be with people around you. Love and notice. Don't be afraid to be uncomfortable.
Know that if you're uncomfortable, they're uncomfortable. And it is an uncomfortable conversation to have, but it's a conversation that needs to happen. One of the things that helped me is knowing that I'm not the only one who's feeling that. And that's what's so normal about depression, is that you feel like you're alone. You feel like you're the only one who's experiencing that, but it's not. That needs to be something that's said, and you're not alone. You're not the only one who's ever had that. You sit there and you beat yourself up and how can I possibly have these thoughts? But you're not the only one.
And that's the problem with fame and depression, because fame is isolating. You become a superstar. You can't walk. It's not like Jung Hyun could go and walk around the park and get out of his world, because he was mobbed. There was no place Jung Hyun could go to be anonymous. He probably didn't have a way to get outside of himself. Fame is very isolating, and fame in Korea seems to be even more isolating.
It's suffocating.
Very suffocating. Most idols quit after 5 years because of how tough it is. And you've got this. I was reading how his dad would deny him his allowance if he wasn't making perfect grades in school. He always had to be the best in everything, or else he was punished. He was not taught how to appreciate himself. So he has no way to get outside himself. Where is he going to go? How is the doctor going to help? And so there's
a line in his letter where he says that he wasn't built for fame, he wasn't made for fame.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awful to think that this thing that he loved is what ultimately killed him. You know, his love of music. You know, it's not like he could have been the person behind the scenes. You know what I mean? I'm not sure that would have made him happy either, but to be the person, you know, maybe if he wasn't famous, like if, you know, if he wrote songs instead of saying them, if he, you know, any little change in him being an idol versus him being just a person behind the camera. I mean, for fame to be what killed him is, I hope that it brings awareness to, and I don't want to start fan wars. I don't want to mention any other fandom specifically, so take this with a grain of salt, but there are fans that believe that their idols are living for them, and as much as that may be true, they have lives. These people are real. The person that shows up on stage and is dancing their heart out, is sweating and telling you that they love you, that is what they want you to see, and it's 100% who they are. But when they walk off that stage, that person has dreams. They have goals in life that they may not be showing you, because why should they have to give us everything? You know what I mean? Why do they have to give us everything? They shouldn't.
The unreal expectations of perfection, the unreal expectations of being on top, of being perfect, these things need to change. And the suicide crisis in South Korea is becoming epidemic. It's of epidemic proportions, especially among men. And, you know, I really hope that more lives don't have to be lost before things change. We're going to get this wrapped up before more of us burst into tears. But we just want to let you know, Jonghyun, that you did well. You did very well. You couldn't appreciate it, but you touched so many lives, and you were special, and you were loved, and you were appreciated. You were enough. And that's the message we want to tell everybody, is that you are enough. You guys, we'll see you next year. Bye. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.